All praises to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Let's get into this video.
Watch this.
Martin Luther didn't like the Catholic Church and founded the Lutheran Church. Calvin didn't like the Lutheran Church and founded the Reformed or Calvinist Church. Henry VIII didn't like being denied Catholic marriage and founded the Anglican Church. John Smith disliked the Anglican Church and founded the Baptist Church. William Miller didn't like the Baptist Church and founded the Adventist movement. Ellen G. White really liked what William Miller said and founded the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Charles T. Russell didn't like the Adventist Church and founded Jehovah's Witnesses. Joseph Smith disliked the Methodist Church and founded the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, also known as the Mormons. John Wesley disliked the Anglican Church and founded the Methodist Church. Some pastors didn't like the Methodist Church and founded the Pentecostal Church. Many did not like the Pentecostal Church and founded thousands of churches like Stop Suffering, Assemblies of God, Light of the World, etc. The evangelical movement came from the Baptist Church, while the born-again movement came from the evangelical churches. The born-again faith emerged in the late 1930s in the U.S., and it gained popularity in the 1970s and 1980s, its golden age. There are now 35,000 different so-called Christian religions.
Right. All these religions are started by Edomites. So as you can see, Christianity, and you gotta understand, Christianity is not what the Bible teaches. For we know that especially Esau has basically started Christianity, for Christianity has evolved a lot over time. Because when the Israelites, or really when we were in captivity in America, right, in hard bondage, there was something called the Slave Bible. This was your first version, kind of Christianity. And people will say there are Christians, where I'm not going to get into that, but it says the Slave Bible, right? It says, select parts of the Holy Bible for the use of the Negro slaves in the British West India Islands, commonly known as the Slave Bible, is a heavily redacted edition of King James Bible. It was designed by British missionaries to promote obedience and remove any biblical themes concerning freedom, liberation, or equality. And this was what Christianity started out as, to be honest. Right? A lot of the times, you know, some of us in during slavery, we could not read, right? But for us that did read, we were given a special, we weren't able to read exactly what the whole theme of the Bible was, right? So that's something called the Slave Bible. In the Slave Bible, obviously Esau used that to make sure the Israelites, especially the Judites, didn't disobey Esau, right? This is why it says, you know, if an Edomite was doing an Israelite very wrong, well, guess what? Esau would tell, or an Edomite would tell that Israelite, you need to obey. You need to keep, you need, the Bible tells you to obey. And that's basically Esau beat the Slave Bible over our heads. Right? Says it deletes more than 90% of the Old Testament and 50% of the New Testament. Right? So Esau has always used cutting out parts of the Bible, restoring parts of the Bible, but under a different definition. And let's get it out right here. Those who remove anything from the Bible. Okay. It says Revelation chapter 22 verse 19, and if anyone takes words away from the scroll of prophecy, Yahweh will take away from that person any share in the tree of life and in the holy city, which is described in this scroll. Right, and you gotta understand, even though we have the whole Bible now, right, Esau still has made a mission to cut the Apocrypha from the Bible. And not only that, but Esau has made a way where certain definitions of the Bible are not what they seem. For instance, fornication. Esau has made that he made fornication mean sex before marriage, right? So now you have a whole bunch of people, especially in Christianity, that think, fornication means sex before marriage, right? Now you have a whole bunch of people that think ruddy means white, right? This is what Esau has done. Esau has put his version of what he wants. This is why, when we're reading the Bible, we're to study line upon line, precept upon precept, and know what these words actually say. Right? So we know that fornication doesn't mean sex before marriage. Fornication really just means sexual immorality. Right? We know that ruddy doesn't mean white. Ruddy means a reddish brown. Right? And we also know who the true people are we also know who the true Israelites are according to Deuteronomy, right? So, but Esau has put his image and laid his image therein. So in Christianity, people think, the Israelites are white, or they think the not who's in the over there in Western Asia are the real Israelites, and they're not. Right? So, let's get this out. It says right here, Job chapter 12 verse 16, with him is strength and wisdom, the deceived and the deceiver are his, right? Because what that video broke down was that all these Edomites, they kept making more subsects of Christianity, right? Because they could not agree on what they wanted, their version of what they wanted in the Bible to say. So this is why you had people like, you had a Seventh-day Adventist, and you had a Jehovah's Witness, and it just keeps going on and on and on and on and on, right? Pentecostal and all that stuff, and basically have all these denominations. But according to the Bible, you're not supposed to have all these denominations. The only denomination according to the Bible is just the Bible. That's it. And the law for our heritage. Right? There doesn't need to be a trillion different denominational beliefs. Right? For instance, in the Jehovah's Witness thing, I forgot what they believe, but a long time ago, I used to be in the Jehovah's Witness religion, right? Now, however, I'll say this, the Jehovah's Witness, when I was, way back when I used to be a Jehovah's Witness, which was almost about, let's just say it's been more than a decade, I believe, right, since I stopped being a Jehovah's Witness. What I realized was during the Jehovah's Witness teachings, they would twist the Bible very much in what they wanted the Bible to say, right? And of course, in the Jehovah's Witness religion, you do have these like booklets, and in those booklets, guess what? Everyone in that booklet is white. They have Adam and Eve as white. Everything in that thing is white, right? So really, the Jehovah's Witness thing is just another version of white supremacy, and that's what Christianity is. Christianity is just another version of white supremacy clothed as holiness. But really, Christianity is a lie, right? So let's get this out right here. It says, Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 64, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone, right? And that's what ended up happening, right? Where we used to serve under the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, when we got scattered around, we end up serving under the name called Jesus, right? And Jesus obviously isn't the name of the Son, because Jesus translates to, I believe, earth pig, and the letter J didn't exist 500 years ago, right? But now that the truth is springing out of the earth. We are worshiping our power under his true name, which is the name of the Father is Yahweh. And to get through the Father, we need to go through the Son, right? So this is why we say Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, and the name of the Son is Yahweh Shai, right? So if you're an Israelite and you're still praying under Jesus, stop doing that. It doesn't make sense. Jesus is not the real name. Alright? You need to drop that Christianity. Right? Christianity does not teach you the real version of the Bible. Alright? Now let's get Exodus chapter 34 verse 14. Do not worship any other God, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God. Right? Exactly. And we know that, of course, it's in the commandments as well. Then you shall not have any other God before you. So that's self-explanatory. But I hope this lesson was edifying. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, and Shalom.